Hi Talk family, it's so great to have you back for another episode of Talk the Talk, hosted by me, Desh, Pillay, Bechan. In today's discussion, I'm joined by Michelle York from the South African Guild of Mobility Journalists. As an organization, I've been a member of this organization since the beginning of my journalism career in motoring. So Michelle has been instrumental in my journey within automotive journalism, involving me in numerous activities related to this field. Her unwavering support for the Women in Motoring South Africa initiative has been invaluable, and we are so thrilled to showcase our movement alongside her. Michelle York, who serves as the General Manager of the SAGMJ, I will say it again, the South African Guild of Mobility Journalists. She possesses a profound passion for journalism. The SAGMJ are also the official host of SA Coty, which is South African Car of the Year Awards.
Not
am I right? It's not the makeup brand, and which is sponsored by Old Mutual, and Michelle plays a pivotal role in leading these awards. Actually, I just found out that she plays the most important role and really does coordinate the entire awards. As a distinguished and highly regarded leader in our industry, she embodies the finest attributes of professional excellence and female empowerment. Not only is she successful, who's a visionary, but she's also left a significant mark on the industry. Her steadfast resolve and relentless enthusiasm have propelled her organization forward, and she expertly navigates challenges and overcomes hurdles along the way. Today, she serves as a powerful example of her relentless work and commitment. I think she deals with many OEM brands, and she's flourishing as a leader who embraces her accomplishments. Her path is a source of inspiration for many, especially me, illustrating that with bravery, resilience, and determination, anything can be achieved. As an exemplary figure for women everywhere, she showcases the strength of female leadership and the profound influence one individual can exert on their community and sector, which she's done for me again. Her influence continues to expand, inspiring future generations of women to chase their aspirations and strive for greatness. Hello, Michelle.
Goodness, what an introduction. I'm actually blushing. Thank you for those beautiful words.
I meant every word. I remember a time when I said, I can't do this, and there was the likes of Tony Hurst, Megan McDonald, and you that said, Desh, you can do this. And this was over 10 years ago.
Oh, easily.
And I mean, we've stayed in contact via Facebook and your stories about mom. And I was invited as well to one of the biggest awards at Gallagher Estate when Derek Watts. That was an opportunity I hold so close to my heart, because he once spoke for RADA, which is Rape and Drug and Abuse, and that's an organization that I've also been championing for. So you've opened so many doors for me, Michelle, and I had to have you in this program for this year. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Desh. And like we were chatting to earlier, we all get further if we help other people. You know what? It's the more you help other people, the better it is for you.
Absolutely.
And I think, from our early days in motoring, I think you've seen the change where women are far more accepted in a field that we weren't very welcome in sometimes.
Absolutely.
And, in my short time, not short time, it feels short.
It's a very long time.
It's a very long time. But I mean, I look at now, Mabuyani Mabuza.
How many years is it?
I've only been at the guild for 7.
It's a long time.
Hang on, let me do my maths. Yeah, 7 years.
Right.
But I've been in the industry, obviously, for much longer than that.
Yes. How many years has it been? Almost 3 decades, right? Okay, I know we're not giving your age.
Yeah. I think the grey.
We're not giving.
You know what? My entry into the industry was completely accidental.
Right.
Completely accidental. I had a full-time job. I was working at the University of Johannesburg, plodding along, and I just I have always had a knack for writing.
Yeah, you do.
And somebody asked me would I be interested in going on a car launch? And I was like, what's that? And I went on the launch and I've never looked back.
No.
And for the first decade at least, I was not paid a cent.
Wow.
I would,
like many journalists.
Yeah, I would take leave from work to go on the launches. I would write for free, and it was just purely the passion of it.
Yeah. I think for me too, I mean, I come from the investigative journalism background, and 2010 I fell into this industry, and after my first experience with BMW, I was with the OEM BMW.
My BM was my first launch too.
I worked for them as an
okay,
OEM.
no, BMW was my first launch. I'll never forget.
And it was just so amazing being part of the events, and I was like, wow, okay. And then after that I moved to Volvo Truck. And so are you interviewing me? I never get interviewed. Are you interviewing me?
Yeah,
can you swap the roles?
Swap roles. Ask us a question.
And then I moved to Volvo, and then I moved to Tata at OEMs, and then I just decided, I wrote an article for, I think it was a Zambian truck launch, and they were like, wow, that's amazing what you just did. And I was like, okay, maybe this is my calling. So, 15 years this year marks 15 years in the industry, and once you are here, you cannot look back. It's fun, it's exciting, it's challenging, and most importantly, it's rewarding.
It is like, I joke and say it's almost like a weird dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
It is so weird, because in what other industry, I mean, if you think about it, you have, for example, IOL and Sunday Times, who are, I mean, all platforms are fighting for readership or for viewership.
Yeah.
So if you think about it really broadly, we are all competitors of each other. In what other industry do you see competitors getting along so well?
Yeah. Oh, we do. And that's what I love about Coty. I mean, you run Coty, we're going to talk about that. But, I mean, you have all of these brands that come together and celebrate each other's vehicles.
So much fun.
Are there any bad vehicles in the industry these days? We just had an experience.
And
I'm so proud to be the one that gave you an experience with the first electric supercar in South Africa.
That is sexy.
I think I've now repaid. No, I can never repay you for what you've done for me. But I've at least given you something back. That was amazing.
That is one pretty MG.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. So let's just backtrack a bit. You started as the general manager at SAGMG, South African Guild of Mobility Journalists.
Just call it the Guild.
The Guild. I love saying South African Guild of it was South African Guild of Motoring Journalists.
Until about 3 years ago.
Yeah, so when it became mobility journalist, it was a bit difficult for me to say the word, but I kept on saying it, that I'm a member, and I was always a member. And I'm very proud to be a member, not because of what you do as an organization, but also I'm proud of the fact that I met the people like Tony Hurst. And
I mean, Tony, when I came into the industry, Tony was a PR for Peugeot.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a long time ago. Right. And the GM of the guild was Adele, a lady called Adele DeFoss, Ferdy DeFoss's wife. And
Ferdy is one of the, he's a classic journalist.
OG.
Yes. And Ferdy, Hannes, I'm so blessed that I got to meet these amazing journalists on my journey.
Absolutely.
I don't see them anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we're losing the greats like Winter Murdoch. That was a massive loss. I braced myself for any bad news of that kind, because
you guys have been going through a lot of losses.
It has slowed down a bit. For a while there, it felt like it was getting a little bit too real. But I think all of us genuinely hope that Roger McCleary can live forever.
Yeah. No, but okay. Let's let's backtrack. We are going to.
So I was going to say that Tony, who was also instrumental in assisting you, I took over from Tony. I got Tony's job. Tony got Adele's job. Right. So we all
just swap positions.
Musical chairs. So yeah, I mean, I took over, you know,
But
the
how
torch
amazing is it? And it's something I can't talk to my dealer network about when they sit here, or my OEMs, because they are not journalists. They don't experience what we experience as journalists. How amazing is it in our little small group of journalists that we support each other as women?
Absolutely.
Hey?
Absolutely.
I'll never forget that day. And I have Festival of Motoring on my shirt. Reason being, Michael Dean, the director of Messe Frankfurt and the director of the Festival of Motoring, know me from the day, or back then, when Tony Hurst was at the building where they were having the media launch.
Yes.
And I was about to walk out, and she's like, "You will stay there."
Yep.
And I contacted her last year and I said, "I want to recognize you for what you did."
Yeah.
Because if I walked out of that building because I saw a bunch of people that were unlike me talking in a different language, I was never going to make it as a motoring journalist.
You know what? There's a few people, I think especially as women, you know, when you come, I mean, when we were sort of entering the industry was sort of when the hardcore petrol head journos, and you know, there's a big difference between petrol head and lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was sort of banded in with lifestyle, and they didn't like us a whole lot. But there were a few.
Yeah.
There were a few, and just like you have people that held out a hand to you and helped you up, there were people that did that to me when I came in.
Yeah.
I think the first time I was like, phew, okay, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
Is, you know how hard it is to find someone to drive with on a launch when nobody wants to drive with you. It is the worst feeling because you're sort of standing there like a spare part.
Just to put you in the picture, you have to partner with someone.
So you do driver changes.
And it's an amazing.
One navigates, one drives.
Right. Yeah. So.
And
did you also experience that?
It was horrible. You end up driving with like the people that nobody wants to drive with.
Oh my God.
And I mean, and I'll never ever forget.
You went? I can't believe I'm sitting here and listening.
We all went through the same thing. We all went through the same thing. And it is etched in my memory forever. I was standing in a queue to board a plane on the way to a launch. And I was standing quite far in the queue. And I sort of looked down the road to see if I recognized anybody, and Christo Valentine at that stage was still a journalist.
I love Christo from
Kia. I know,
Kia.
isn't he a honey from Kia? He's such a honey, and Christo was still a journo, and from the back of the queue he sort of waved at me and he went, "You and me drive together." I almost burst into tears.
So Christo introduced me to RADA, Rape and Drug and Abuse. And I went public on that night about my story.
Amazing.
So that's how small this world
But
is.
it just goes to show, you know, when I say that it's like family, it really is like family. Yeah.
We honestly like family.
Especially like, it's weird. I think time just flies so quickly that often I don't necessarily see the guys as getting older. So like I look at Justin Jacobs, who's the PR at Merck. And like, I just see that...
He was at my awards last year.
I just see that naughty little face from... You know what I'm talking... You know what... Like, before everything... And it's just like, I look at them and it's so nice.
Yes.
I love seeing youngsters do well.
No, absolutely. And we need to invite the new... I mean, I understand the difference between influencers and journalists. And there's always this, debate about... why are the influencers? Yeah, they're important to us.
Of course.
They're very important. But let's just backtrack a little bit to, I think we like jumping around.
I know.
Our conversation. But there's so much that we have to talk about.
Like herding cats.
No, it's okay. We'll have this in 2 segments because it's not often. And when you talked about this bunch of people that will always be, will always root for each other, there's someone else that, in fact, the only other motoring journalist that I have ever partnered with in my entire career, that I am now seeing part of your jury, okay, and that's Ellen Rosenmeyer.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have become very close friends in the last 7 years.
He's a honey pie.
This year was the first year I introduced him into my network, and he and I have partnered on YouTube. So it's Motor Matters, and we'll put up his link on the caption. But he started his career at the age of 65. I'm 55 and he's now 65.
Drove with Alan on one of his first launches.
Yes. So
I'm also lucky.
Cape Town, you went for a launch last year in November and I couldn't make it. So Sholo, my cameraman, went and he said to me, Michelle York is my partner. Ask your cameraman to get hold of Michelle and please ask him to partner with her. So I don't think that happened on the launch.
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did. Okay, he's nodding his head from behind. I don't know who he partnered with. But I mean, he's going to be, my cameraman is going to be the next motoring journalist because he has his diploma in motoring. And I think I stand to be corrected, but Sholo, get that name, Sholo, is going to be, or is the man, the only, maybe the first black or man of color in South Africa that has been with us for the last 3 years, have shot more than 2,000 cars.
Oh no, like he knows his way around a car. If he doesn't by now, then...
Yeah. So,
but
he's now moving up into, he's our head of media, but yeah.
You know, you were saying finding people to drive with. I'm now in a situation where I know who I'm driving with before I even get there because, like, you know.
Right. Okay, let's move this back to you, Mish. Okay, what are your challenges right now in terms of being a female in the motoring trade? I don't think you have any. People know you.
Yeah, I've been around for a while now. I'm like part of the furniture. You know what, I think our challenge is, again, like you brought up the influencers, and I have no axe to grind with the influencers. I think there's space for everyone, you know, in the segment, but there are questions that are coming up, and different people get treated differently. And I think sometimes people forget that, and you've heard it, this manufacturer doesn't give me cars, you know, they don't like me, the PR has an issue with me. And you know, I always put it like sort of in a way that is a little bit more understanding. It's like, if I am, and I'm going to use VW as an example here, if I am a manufacturer and I'm selling a VW Polo, I'm going to go for the people that reach that target audience because it's my marketing budget.
Right.
And it's frustrating to me when there is a sense of almost like entitlement, like why me, you know, and I think sometimes people forget that this is a two-way street.
Yeah.
And it's marketing. So if an OEM chooses to use influencers, it's their marketing budget, and let them do what they choose to do with it. You can't affect that any more than you can pressure them to advertise one way or the other.
Absolutely.
And I think that is something you need to keep in mind. And again, at one stage in the industry, lifestyle, which was the kind of journal I was considered the one on the outs. So I think we've all been there. I think there was an inflood of influencers, and just figuring out how they fit into sort of our ecosystem would be good. But in that process, and you know, you get test cars and things, I think you understand the disruption if test cars are damaged, and fleet damage is a massive problem at the moment. The fleet are being damaged.
Oh my gosh,
it's a very sore subject.
It's horrible because in the 15 years that I've been in the industry, I've been testing for most of the years. I mean, you saw there's 3 different brands in my yard. There's 3 different groups.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 different cars. There's a supercar, there's an SUV, there's a crossover. And I have never, ever given a vehicle back to the manufacturer or to the dealer with a scratch extra on it.
I think that and again, I say,
and I'm just going to touch wood on that.
Touch wood on
because
you
like you know,
I've dinged the rim and I've, you know, a stone hit my windscreen, but that's touch wood, the only thing that's happened to me. But people often say, you know, you know how all of this, you know, the influencers come and they, you know, they disrespect the brand that's inviting them. They RSVP, they don't bother to get onto the plane, they don't follow the route schedules. You know, you've heard all and my question is, did anyone explain to them what sort of the acceptable etiquette is in situations like this. Because, like, if someone says to you, here are the keys to a supercar, and they don't actually say, these are the rules, how can we hold them responsible for playing by rules that nobody's explained to them? So I think my first major sort of hurdle is education and training.
Yeah.
Because...
which we're going to get to next. I want to educate my audience about what it is that the Guild covers. Okay, the Guild, this is, I've like almost recite the history book. The Guild, if you can believe it, was established in 1964. So the Guild itself is 60 years old. Yeah.
I mean, that is a long history and tradition. Way back then, there probably weren't that many publications.
Yeah.
So there was a handful of people. They built it on a concept that was in the UK. And it's almost like a club of journalists in this very niche industry that we're in. Initially, you couldn't even join the Guild. You had to be asked. You were invited to join.
Yeah, like how you invited me.
No, but I mean, like, you couldn't even go, how do I get an application form?
Right.
It was like, unless the boys tapped you on the shoulder, you weren't going anywhere. And, membership grew. I think the media that we see now interacting with the motoring journalists, that developed under the umbrella of the Guild. And it was almost, and it's not anymore, sadly, but well, I'd say not. It is still there, but it is diminished somewhat. That they wouldn't even give media fleet to people that weren't Guild members.
Wow.
And I mean, our vetting process, you don't just go, I want to join, and we sort of go, okay, here we go, you're in. Yeah. It's a long process.
And as I said earlier, there's a lot that the Guild covers.
Yeah.
And insurance is one of it. Can you explain that part?
Yeah, we have...
So this is for the future aspiring motoring journalists, which I hope that is going to grow.
We can only hope.
Yeah, we need more.
Yeah, so I've just completely lost my train of thought. Sorry, just... bump you back to where we were going. I'm now thinking about something else.
Okay, so what does the Guild cover?
Oh, sorry. Yes, back to the insurance. I'm sorry. I sometimes just...
The insurance. I think the insurance is a big thing.
Yes, it is a big thing. Any sort of man on the street, if you are driving vehicles on a track, as you know, we very often get to go on racetracks and things like that. You aren't covered by your insurance. So if anything catastrophic had to happen to you, your insurance will go, sorry for you. And we have special bespoke insurance for our members that it's more motor accident. So it doesn't cover the car that you're in. It's not a medical aid, but it does cover you that if you are on a track and you do get seriously injured, there's lots of income protection.
I see a big smile from my cameraman because he's going to be joining the Guild soon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I better get an application.
Because he's actually doing all our test drives. So,
absolutely.
our
He
launches.
needs to become a member.
Yeah.
Previously, I think post-COVID, I think we all know that budgets are certainly not what they used to be.
Yeah.
And so that sort of slush fund that was a lot more available to ensure that our members had advanced driver training, one of my pet passion projects. Those sort of things, we sort of rebuilding again. We are speaking to a few people. So we do training and development. The other thing that is, I think, quite special about the Guild is that we've got a benevolent fund, an old school benevolent fund that was established in the 80s and that is run by a completely separate committee.
Right.
And any Guild member that is going through hardships can approach them. We don't even know who the people are. They never report to us. The names of the people are known only to the committee. And, where do you find a membership organization that still has that kind of benefit, for members?
Yeah.
And during COVID, I think it was used by a lot of our members to, sort of get them over the hump, because if you can't go out and attend launches or drive cars, you can't work.
Oh, wow. Because I hope that covered a lot of what the Guild covers. But I want to bring this back to you, Michelle. This is my 15th year in the industry, and it's our 7th MWOT, Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, powered by Nedbank. How do you feel about that platform?
I think,
and all my platforms.
I think it's amazing. I genuinely do.
Are you proud of me?
I am beyond proud of you. I am so proud of you. And like, I was saying, you have found your little niche, and you've made it pink and pretty, and you are just owning it, and that's what we live for.
I love
nobody has to. It's like, I see so many people emulating or copying other people, but to find something that is truly yours in this industry, I think is very, very difficult.
I just needed that because I am awarding you this year. Is it rewarding? I'm awarding you this year. It's not going to be part of the category awards, but I want to give you recognition because this is my 15th year. It's the 7th year Motoring Woman of the Year Awards. I want to give you this recognition, and I believe life is short. I'm not going to wait for next year. I did want to. Tony Hurst is very much under the radar person.
Yes, she is.
And I am going to mention her name today because she is one of the ladies that have, introduced me to the guild, introduced me to many manufacturers. But this year I would love for you to come up on stage and accept that award. Would you do it?
Absolutely. That is like, I think as one of the people that generally tends to be sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The recognition is really special, and I think on a sort of a daily basis, I don't, you do something nice for somebody and you don't realize sort of the butterfly effect of that.
Yes, and that's it, because people often ask me, those that want to stay under the radar often ask me, but I don't need the recognition. I don't want to be on a public platform, Desh. But the thing is, when I showcase women like you, it gives hope to many women out there that are watching me, okay, and says to them, listen, you can find your own Michelle York. You can find your own
Michelle York.
You can find your own Megan McDonald.
Yeah.
And you can find, when it comes to the men as well, Jeff Osborne, who's my ambassador, and Brad Kaftel, and Van der Waal, the owner of We Buy Cars, or Stefan Borgetter, who we just met. Find your own, they are there. So this platform is there to recognize the men and women that have uplifted and empowered and have been catalysts for this positive transformation that we are going through. So these interviews that we are having, when I do publish them, there's 500 views or 1,000 views, okay, and then I go back to them 2 years later, 3 years later, and there's 5,000 views on them. So, and our industry has grown. When I started, I think there was about 55,000 women. Now we're at 90,000 women in the trade. So,
look, I mean, you see things a little bit differently from the angle that I see, because you're very involved with the dealers, where I'm sort of more on the journal side.
Yes.
But if I just look at the amount of women that are coaching jurors, for example, I mean, you look at Janine at the post from Media 24, also one of those fly under the radar. Yeah. But I mean, she's the first female of color woman at Media 24 that runs like they're motoring.
Love it.
It is, and it's. I think the women that we have are strong but silent.
Yes.
They do more through their actions than through their.
That's so important. But I can't. I'm not silent. So. I'm the boy. I have a very loud voice, and I'm going to use it. And I talk a lot, like you do. But Michelle, you have been, as I said, extremely instrumental in my life, and I impact millions of lives. Obviously, I found my voice through your help. Okay, and your assistance, and I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud. Okay, I'm going to now move on to your mom.
My poor mother.
Yes. So I absolutely love conversations with her mom, and she's a writer just like me, so I can resonate with. I literally read between the lines. You have a beautiful relationship with your mom.
I do.
Tell us about that. Tell us about her character.
My mom is like, when I tell people about it, people they look at me and go, that can't be right. She is quirky, complete opposite of me. She's very quiet. She doesn't like being around people. Just leave her at home and she's happy. Whereas I'm like all loud and everything else. but like she has got the weirdest habits. Like,
Please don't let her watch this. Okay.
Like she goes to sleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, that's not a weird habit. She's napping.
No, like good night.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then she gets up anyway.
How old is
like,
your mom?
She's 70 something.
Okay.
But then she, like her body clock is like bedtime is like 4ish, and then she gets up anywhere from midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And that's when her day starts.
No, that's amazing.
No, that's very bizarre.
Okay. She gets a whole 12 hours sleep. This is now classic interaction with my mother. She goes to sleep at 4 o'clock. You know, I mean, the sun's still up. I'm used to it now. And it's about 6:30, and I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like thinking, I'm feeling peckish. I need to make something to eat. And she comes blundering into the kitchen. You know, when you've just woken up and the hair's standing there, and she goes, I've overslept. And I'm going, what? It's 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like thinking, how? And then I realized that she genuinely went to sleep at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and thought that the sun had gone down and come up again. In like 2 hours. Sometimes happens to my son.
But I mean, it's the middle of the afternoon.
Right.
And like, I just look at her and shake my head.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I can actually really resonate with that because my son said to me, Mom, I need to go to campus. He's studying law, business law. And he said, like, if I have a nap at 4 o'clock and then it's 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I feel like I slept through the night. And now it's morning and I'm late for my lectures. And I'm like, you need to get your body clock right. Yeah, so I get it. I mean, when I went to Vegas as well. Oh, the jet lag.
I got married in Vegas, little known fact.
You got married in Vegas?
Many years ago.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even know you were married.
It was well, not that brief, but it was.
Okay. In Vegas. Was it in the Elvis Presley church?
It was close. I wanted to get a pink Cadillac and go to the drive-thru.
Right.
But we held ourselves back, and it was in like the Chapel of Love.
Oh my word. So, I went to Vegas in 2023 for the SEMA. I told you
Vegas is like a whole other thing.
Yes, and I'm representing again this year. I'm taking my husband with because he's sponsoring me actually. So he's going with me, and we are married this year, like the traditional wedding for 20 years this year. So I told him I'm going to take him to
go. You must. It is so much fun.
But it's confirmed. We definitely. He's going to. I'm hiring. He's sponsoring me, and I'm hiring him as my videographer. So
works perfect. I see nothing wrong with that.
And yeah, I would love because I walked past the Elvis Presley church, the Cadillac thing.
There are churches everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's just beautiful. Like everywhere. Like the bride. People like running around in bridal gowns.
But I could never go out at night because I don't feel safe, and that's still my culture and it's still the way I am because of my experiences in life. And I said to him, because I've been invited again, I need you to come with me so I can experience what Vegas is really about at night.
When we went to Vegas, I hate horror movies. I am not a horror movie fan. I cannot see it. I cannot hear it. I can't even watch Harry Potter. I find Harry Potter terrifying. I can't. Don't tell anyone.
Okay, we won't tell JK and Rowling about that. I was
very stupid enough that when we got married, it was Halloween time. And at MGM Grand, they had this like whole Halloween thing. And I have never hated life as much. I mean, they had these people with like, chainsaws jumping out of dark corners, and it was terrifying. Terrifying.
And the guys just come up like dressed in baboon suits.
It was like they had this like old like little town, and you could go into the different buildings, but like in the alleyways, people would like jump out at you, and I was like, crazy. I'm not. This is not.
Oh, and I was there for Halloween.
Isn't it crazy?
On the 31st of October. It was the most terrifying night of my life. Driving from the SEMA show, the convention center, to my hotel, and I was like, just get me. I'm telling the Uber, just get me home. Please just get me into. Because there's people out there with scream masks. Yeah, like, you think you could get stabbed at any.
Yeah, no, I think any psychopath could have a field day during them.
Anyway, Michelle, I think we're going to definitely cut the segment of this interview into two. It was very entertaining. I think I just brought you here to introduce you to, or I asked you to come. I invited you to introduce you to my audience.
That is awesome. I could sit here and chat to you for days.
I know we can, and because we're journalists, but I love your henna.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, love it.
So gorgeous.
Michelle, thank you very much.
It is an absolute
Thank you
pleasure.
for everything you've done for me.
Desh, you know what? You pay it forward, and that's all I can ask for. Because the more ladies and women and youngsters that we help into this mental industry of ours.
Mental, but
it is. You know what? It is like when I think back of all the things that we've been fortunate to do on launches. I mean, that's crazy.
Launches are
amazing. To take a helicopter to the top of a hill to go have like sundowners at that, what's that golf course? The Eye of Africa, not the golf, where you have to tee off from on top of the mountain. The golfers that are watching this now are crying because I didn't even know what it's called, but I was up there in a helicopter. You know what I mean?
Have you been for the Samola Hill Club?
Oh yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah, so
the first year with Renault, this was like many years ago. Renault actually sponsored it for the first few times, and we all did the hill climb.
Yeah, and
we did the hill climb and the Twingos
as well.
We did the Twingos. We did them up in the Renault Twingos, and then we took the Megans and raced up the hill. So I've actually done the Samola, which is great fun. You know, I mean, again, I'm
going again this year. So
and driving cars on runways. I mean, the stuff we do.
It's amazing.
We're so spoiled.
That's why we can't look back. We can't be. Some of us leave and come back. So, Michelle, and then I just want to say that you have been absolutely phenomenal in your role, and as much as we paint this industry with all these bright colors and we make it look like the most amazing industry to be in, we must also remember that we do contribute, I think, about 7% to the GDP.
Yeah.
So we are a big contributor.
Absolutely.
And we need to continue to foster these relationships that that builds other people. And as you said, pay it forward. So thank you so much for coming back. I hope you will be back next year as my resident.
I'm not going anywhere.
And so apparently I've been very serious, but our conversation hasn't been that serious. But we're going to do a little bit of 30 seconds.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to go first. Okay. It is, Rocky's theme song.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yes. Oh gosh!
Come on, I'm that age. Like I am great. I was there when it was originally released.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
I love Rocky, by the way. I just remember him going into them. Okay, so then, this lady, what does she sing? I'm not even gonna go there. Okay. So it's a game. It's in Vegas. You play it a lot. You even played it at home. Okay, when your face have no expression, what is it called?
Poker. I almost burst into like a bit of Lady Gaga there, but I don't think anyone is.
I love this one. Much. Okay, it's that woman in New York.
Okay, go bigger. There's lots of women in New York.
No, it's that. I can't say the word. It's not a portrait of her. What is it called? I already gave you the thought, but anyway, it is. New York's
Statue of Liberty. Please, can I just tell you that the customs official in New York have no sense of humor, because my surname is York, and I had waited my entire life to land at New York to say to those customs officials, "There's a New York in New York," and they were like, "That's not funny."
So like York, is it? That's not American. That's English.
It's English.
Okay, all right. Okay, I love this guy. My gosh, he was one of the best rugby players. Okay, I know that sounds weird. In Indian love rugby players, but
you're talking to the wrong girl here.
Okay, he passed away. You are so handsome.
USD.
So I'm not.
I don't know much about that. Get really pretty.
Right, I love yours van der Westhuizen. Okay.
Remind me to tell you the story about my mother in sport.
Okay, I will after the show. Because that's another story that will take us 5 years. Gosh, that's all. Give me mine.
Okay, I need my glasses.
Okay.
The eyes are getting old. Ooh, okay. Really, really good TV show. Hairstyle. There was a hairstyle. One of the girls' hairstyles became very well known. Sitcom.
What was the name?
Can I say names?
Yeah. But
Character names or
character names, not the show's name.
Rachel.
Oh, Rachel. With Jennifer Aniston and all of them, right? Friends.
Yes.
And I never got that card. I never got that card before. You could have said what we are. Friends.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, here's a bit of a spicy one.
Okay.
He married his stepdaughter. American guy.
Oh my gosh.
Famous director. Wears little glasses.
Married his stepdaughter. That's sick. Okay, but
Woody Allen.
Okay, you could have just said, "What's this dish with?"
I don't think that literally.
Okay.
Name of a singer. You put it in your drink. It's cold. If you've got a hot drink. I mean, if you've got a warm. What do you put? You put what into a cold?
Ice.
He's a singer, a rapper.
Baby.
He's a rapper. He's now in
Ice Cube.
Yes.
Ice Cube. Give me
one more. Okay.
This is fun. Okay.
Okay, no, wait. Now I'm stuck here going, Okay. It was held here in 2010, 2011?
2010, what, the World Cup?
Yes!
Thank you, Michelle. You're one of the only people that make me look a little bit intelligent with a little bit of IQ, so thank you.
That was fun.
I know I have EQ, but
we didn't do that bad. Hey, we were both nervous about
Not at all. Not at all. And my cast here, my crew here, always gives me new cards, and we're running out, so please organize some compliments of the guild. Organize us some cards, okay?
Yeah, because that's the business. I have so many contacts.
Okay, Michelle, thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, Desh.
Thank you very much. So, viewers, we are so truly thankful to all of you for engaging with our content through watching, commenting, and sharing our interviews. Our non-profit organizations, such as the Motoring Woman of the Year Awards, sponsored by MFC, a division of Nedbank, and the Talk the Talk Studios, backed by Seriti Solutions, aim to honor and recognize the contributions of women in the South African automotive sector. Our purpose is not just about storytelling or playing with jokes or playing 30 seconds. It is all about the purpose, and it is about being committed to creating a positive influence, especially to those of whom can't find their voices. Together, we focus on empowering and uplifting women in our field. We also share latest news and content on behalf of every manufacturer on our website, which is www.womentalk.co.za, which has been around for the past 8 years now. And you can visit our YouTube channel for interviews and reviews. All links to our socials are in the caption above. If you're in search of a new vehicle, we encourage you to visit www.auto.evo.africa, where you will discover thousands of cars available for purchase from trustworthy and accredited MFC dealerships. This car listing portal is user-friendly, and it includes vehicle reviews as well as automotive content like after-sales tips and advice and road safety content. Viewers, we are so truly thankful to all of you for engaging with our content through watching, commenting, and sharing our interviews, our non-profit organizations. I think Michelle is just
Giving little hearts.
giving me
Giving
a
little
heart in
hearts.
there, but we are really, really thankful. Thank you so much. I'm going to heart in with okay, our non-profit organizations definitely appreciate all of your support. So ladies, I want to leave you with this thought for today, and I think I really want to do this because Michelle is sitting with me. Success, ladies, is built on a readiness to learn, to grow, and to transform. And the key to realizing your full potential lies in embracing your flaws and being receptive to fresh ideas and viewpoints.
Absolutely.
So
It's
don't
never too late to make a first start.
absolutely don't shy away. We're talking about Ellen Rosenmeyer as well. Male or female, it doesn't matter. He started his career at 55 and he has a huge following on YouTube because he's so passionate.
Yep.
So don't shy away from exploring new methods, taking well-considered risks, and
Absolutely.
stepping outside your comfort zone, which Michelle was very instrumental in me doing.
Well, if it's any consolation, I was pushed far out of my comfort zone too. So, but that's what makes you grow.
Absolutely. So remember, it's during those uncertain times that you will uncover your strongest abilities and experience the deepest and the most profound personal growth.
Absolutely.
So focus on self-investment, fuel your curiosity, and adopt a mindset dedicated to ongoing learning. As you evolve, you will attain more and open up wealth of opportunities. Keep in mind that success is not merely a goal. I'm going to say it again. Success is not merely a goal. It is a journey of discovering oneself, resilience, and
Absolutely.
commitment. So continue to move ahead, shine your light, and remember that your aspirations are attainable. Have faith in yourself, listen to your intuition, take the guidance from those that have been
And you know
there
what, if you
before
just look around you, there are
Yes.
people that are wanting to help you. You just have to go, can you give me a hand?
Absolutely, and remain steadfast in
Yep.
pursuing your goals.
Absolutely.
So you possess the potential for greatness, and the world needs your distinct voice and perspective. And with that, I'd like to remind you that the question isn't who's going to let me. It must always be who's going to stop me.
There you, oh, I love that. Want that on a t-shirt.
It's my saying.